Of course, you can get the latest international ag news online at agricensus.com. Biofuel groups are applauding the EPA for finalizing renewable volume obligations, which they say restores order to the RFS. The announcement comes as consumers continue facing record high prices at the pump. President and CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association, Geoff Cooper, joins us now with further perspective on the situation. Geoff, as always, thank you very much for your time here today. Bring us up to speed, of course, on this latest announcement and what benefits it holds for producers and consumers alike.
Well, thanks for having me this morning, Janet. And you're right, last week was a good week for the renewable fuels industry. We finally got some decisions that we've been waiting on for months, in some cases waiting on for years, from EPA and USDA both. And they're good for the industry. We really believe the actions that EPA announced on Friday really helped put the renewable fuel standard back on track after several years of mismanagement and abuse by the previous administration. It seems like we've got things back on the straight and narrow with the RFS. We have a very strong blending requirement for 2022. EPA also finally took action to restore some volume that was waived illegally all the way back in 2016. And they finally closed the door and really put the last nail in the coffin for the small refinery exemption program that had been letting dozens of refiners out of their obligations to blend renewable fuels. So overall, a very good package for the renewable fuels industry. And like you said, a good package for consumers as well, because we've got ethanol selling for $1.25 or $1.30 per gallon lower than gasoline today. And so obviously, if we are requiring refiners to blend larger volumes of low-cost fuels like ethanol, that's going to help put downward pressure on gas prices and provide some relief to American families who are looking at record high prices right now.
Now, as we mentioned, the EPA also put a halt to improper small refinery exemptions. What does that specifically mean for the industry?
Well, what it means is we actually have some certainty and stability now with the renewable fuel standard. Unfortunately, the last few years we've had a situation where some refineries were getting excused from their obligations, and it was kind of being done in a secretive way, and so we didn't really know what refiners were still being required to blend renewable fuels and which ones weren't. So, Friday's action really clears the air and says, look, the intention of the law here was to require all refineries, large or small, integrated or independent, to blend a certain, consistent volume of renewable fuels. And so this action is going to hold those refiners to account and make sure that they are all treated fairly by EPA under this program.
That's certainly a lot of checks in the win column here in the recent days, Geoff. But with this announcement, is there anything else that you, however, would like to see addressed also?
Well, we're still looking for, removal of additional barriers that are keeping higher level blends like E15 out of the marketplace. We are seeing rapid acceleration and growth in E15, but we believe it could take off even faster if EPA would help alleviate some remaining regulatory barriers that simply don't make sense and really are keeping some retailers from offering E15 to consumers. Things like that ridiculous pump label that they still require for E15. So that's really the next step is now that we've got a strong RFS in place and we've got phenomenal blending economics that are telling the market to blend more ethanol, we need to remove some of that remaining regulatory red tape.
You can go online to ethanolrfa.org for more information. Thank you, Geoff, for your insight today. President and CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association, Geoff Cooper, connecting with us today out of St. Louis, Missouri.